Hello, this is Larry Sheridan with ETS-Lindgren. I do a lot of training with tile software, and we have another product to augment EMC testing that can be used as a standalone video product or with tile, and it is called VisionTRX. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a device set up with a camera monitoring the laser power on it, and we're watching the pixel value of the color that we've selected. And what happens is we can actually monitor that value with tile talking back and forth to the software. So in tile, I'll go ahead and run the test that's accessing this channel, and we'll be able to see, I'll pull the tile GUI onto the screen, and we can actually watch this value update as the test is running. We're leveling up to 20 volts per meter, and once we get there, the value will be measured, and we've got high and low limits, and so we're actually connected to and talking interactively with tile. And what's happening off screen is we also are graphing these results over frequency, so as the test runs, you can actually watch the monitor channel get graphed like a strip chart in tile. So you can see the channel updating, the pixel value of this region is being recorded, and if I want to, I can put my finger in front of this and show you that it actually changes the value. So we'll get a failing value. And then it'll reset and redetect as we go through the frequencies, and you'll see the data come back. This is very useful when you're monitoring an EUT in a chamber and you don't really have, a direct voltage channel or a DAC measurement, and you really don't want to have somebody sitting there staring at a monitor all day to see if there was a perturbation. We can actually monitor this with the software. And we wanted to start out with this demo, and next I'll go through showing you how to add different detection zones. What we have open here is VisionTRX, and what we're monitoring is the laser light on one of our devices. And we're monitoring the entire color saturation and the pixel values for that color. And this is what it looks like when it's running. What I'll demonstrate next is how to add another color zone. So let's say we want to look at this orange receive light as well. What we'll do is we'll add an area color of interest, and once you have this area open and selected, we can go into the properties and set up an appropriate size box, and we'll call it RX. And so now we have this small box. We'll hover it over what we want to measure, which in this case is the orange LED. All right. And now we just need to detect the area. This yellow ring around the blue light indicates that it is capturing all of the blue in that image. We need to set up similar parameters for orange. So with this selected, this region selected, we go to the detection color, and we can move the window and say pick. And this gives us an eyedropper to go sample the color in the image. So we can find a color that most represents what we're seeing and want to pick up and hit OK. And you can see that now we're detecting this area. And maybe because the thing is not consistently all the same color, we'll adjust the hue and saturation range, loosen them up slightly, maybe keep the intensity range similar. So now we actually have a value that's floating around 500. It's staying pretty consistent. So we can set an upper and lower limit for measurement and say, okay, we're going to set the limits at 750 and 250, so that if it goes outside of those limits, it will latch a failure. And I can show you that manually. Now that I'm measuring, I can actually interrupt the light, and you can see these zones turn red where I had interfered with their value. And you can manually reset that. We can also sync these channels to tile and set them up to be monitored, which I'll go ahead and do, and then I'll show you them being monitored. So we added the orange receive detection area, in order to add it to the monitor path in tile, we need to do a few things. We need to create a data item, and we need to create limits high and low for that data item. We'll create that RX for receive. That'll be the raw data. We'll create that RX underscore high. That'll be the high limit representation. And we'll set that RX low, which will be the low limit of how we want this to perform. And then what we need to do is go into the immunity susceptibility action and go to our monitors tab, and we'll add a second channel. We already have the laser, the blue channel. Now we'll add the orange channel, which is the RX instrument, the output data RX. So now we have the instrument, which we created already. We have the raw data, the high limit and the low limit. And now when we run the test, we can watch these things appear on the graph, because the limits that we set in VisionTRX will flow into our monitored zones. So we'll add these: RX high, RX, RX low. And I'll adjust the colors so that they're a little bit more bold for you to see. Light red, 2. So now you can see it updating as the test runs, and all those values are being passed through from VisionTRX into tile. So now in tile, I've set up the orange detection area, and I'm going to run the profile, and I'll bring that screen onto our monitor so that we can watch it. Okay? It's been automatically set up by these numbers for the upper and lower area, and now it's recording the data. You can see it updating here. I can make it a little larger as we go, and you can see this number being recorded graphically. And I can also create a short interruption in it, change its value a little bit by putting a pen in front of it, and then moving it back out, and it will recover at the next frequency point. We are also able to completely record this video as it's being run. So we can create a video and have it run as we're going. And so now, as we test, we're measuring both the blue channel and the orange channel. And you can see what's happening in tile as I move the screens in and out. When this test is over, I'll show you how to add the text to the image so that you actually have a reference of frequency and time as the test is running. So another feature that you can add while you're recording video, you can also put text of your timestamp and your frequency. And how we do that is we just go to the insert text. We can actually take the tag off but show current time as true. Then we can add another tag and move it over. Actually, we'll move this one, put that back up in the corner, bring this one next door, and remove its tag and go with current frequency as true. So while we're running, that will populate the frequency that we're at, and we can also start recording a video. And now I'll run the test. And we can start taking data and updating the frequency, as well as recording video. So as it runs up in amplitude, it's looking for 20 dBm, and here we go. It's leveling, and you can see as we run the test that the blue light stays constant, but the orange light is fading in and out. So the blue channel is showing you that it's staying within its tolerance in the tile graph, and the orange channel, the receive channel, that light's coming on and off, so it's being detected as not being a consistently passing light because it's turning on and off. And it's all being recorded both in tile and in VisionTRX as we run through the frequencies. Once this is done in a minute, we'll just sweep to 100 megahertz. We can go and review the video of the test as well. All right, we're approaching 100 megahertz. All right, now the test will be completed, and we can go review the movie. Stop recording. And now we can review the video of the test. You can actually slide through the video and pan through and find events and look for specific places as well. So you have the ability to go scan your video. And what was happening is this light, as we were running, we applied an AM modulated dwell, and the receive light was blinking as a result of the intermittent signal on the probe due to the AM modulation. And that's what we were recording in the channel. We were seeing it come and go based on where the modulation was. So now we can add a channel. We're not going to pick it up in tile, but we can show you how you can measure the blink rate of a zone. So we can measure the frequency at which that white LED is running. We'll set the window up the same way that we did before. And we'll call this zone TX, and we'll just drag the window over that LED, and you can actually see that it measures that is blinking at 8.33 hertz. And I can interrupt that, and it goes down to 1 hertz. Move the pen, it goes back to 8.33. So these are the various kinds of things that we can measure. So in conclusion, VisionTRX has many more options and capabilities than what we can show all in one short video. We can do OCR measurements. We can measure, distortion of displays. But what I have shown here so far is that we can show colors, different colors in areas of interest, the frequency of a blinking light, how to interface back and forth to tile to move your limit lines and your data back and forth between the profiles, and how VisionTRX actually logs the events in tile visually so that you can track them and have a video record. As well, we showed you how to put some timestamps and frequency location in your videos so that when you have a perturbation or some kind of failure, you can go find it quickly and accurately. We hope that you enjoyed what you're seeing here and want to learn more about VisionTRX, because there's so much more we can show in a live demo. Thank you.